7 years. After 7 years of consistently developing and changing and growing, it is time to announce that it is finally at an end. 7 years ago, I started on this journey of gardening and exploring in the realm of what I can do to be a little bit more in touch with the natural world. And this has been one of the most rewarding things I've done, with the exception of a few. I think being a father was by far the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. And it's immensely rewarding to watch and raise a child grow. But this was one of the things I really enjoyed. And over the last few weeks, I've been slowly tearing down the garden. And you see the greenhouse is now gone, and I've been removing a lot of the rock in between the beds, and I'm slowly taking out all of the beds. And it's heartbreaking. You know, with every step that I've taken in this, you know, I have very fond memories of every path of growing in this journey I've done in the gardening realm. But with every end, there's a new beginning. I'm very pleased to be able to sit here and say that after 9 years of living in this house, we have decided to buy a piece of property. We're currently purchasing 2 acres of property up on a hill, way far away from where I'm currently living. It's about 30 miles from here, and it's going to be like a 25-mile drive just to get to work. So about a 50-mile round trip, but it's going to be worth it. The journey has just begun for me, and I hope that you guys are going to get back in touch and follow, because I plan on showing the endless possibilities of what you can do when you set your mind to it. It is heartbreaking though, you know. I remember when I had my full aquaponics set up right over there, which is actually something I'm hoping I can redo at our new location and build it inside of a greenhouse where I can keep it heated in the wintertime with like a wood stove. My original side right here, where my very first garden bed started off, just right here, and then just slowly progressed into what I had. And the last couple of years, my garden was just amazing. It produced so much in such a little space that I'm very intrigued to see how much more we can do. And I'm already in the process of figuring in the next 5 years of my life. So we're already starting to figure the next 5 years of life. And coming here into the garage, I just got to show you guys my little friends. So here are 2 baby turkeys, and we have, now these little guys are just about a week or 2 old now, and they're baby chicks. So starting off in the house, we're going to do the typical homestead. We're going to start off with a full garden, our chickens, a couple turkeys. These little guys right here were the last 2 in the store. And I don't know, I had to grab them. You know, they look so lonely without anybody else. And these guys got character. This one is very rambunctious. We like getting them out into that back garden and just letting them run around for a little bit. Give them some exercise, and here pretty soon, you know, they'll be in their new home and be able to free range at the new place. These guys. Come here, buddy. Here we go. You look a little raggedy today, bud. What's going on? You fighting with your friend? You've already grown so much in the week that you've been here. Um, Here's another step on learning and growing, learning how to tend to different varieties of animals. I got a buddy of mine who's going to sell me a few goats, so that way I can help keep the ambient, or not ambient, so that way I can keep the ground cover down pretty low and make sure that the fire line is maintained very well. I think I'll stick with chickens. I think I'll stick with the chickens and the turkeys for a little bit. And then after I get the infrastructure in for the goats, I'll get the goats all set up. All right, here's to the end of it. Now, it's definitely gonna be pretty fascinating when I can get out there and start doing some pretty cool stuff. I kind of thought of, regardless of whatever happens when it comes to videos or anything like that, the idea of being able to document where I'm going and how I'm doing year after year is a great motivational tool to use in your arsenal. So I remember back in the old days when I was 23, 24, we'll take a step back from that. So when I was in my teens up until about 20, I weighed over 320 pounds. And during that time, I struggled a lot in life, but I started working at a local tire dealer. It's a West Coast, very large name, and it was very competitive back in that day. And out of the 14 people that got hired on, myself and one other was the only people that stayed on with the crew, and that actually turned into my career. It was my career for close to 15 years until about a year ago when I decided to change paths. I have a lot of hopes and dreams for what this new property and these new things are going to turn out to be. And but on that path, when I first started with that job, I went from 320 pounds down to about 275 within like a year or so, just doing that job. And a buddy of mine and I, we both decided to hit the P90X. That was back in the prime time of that workout program. And one of the things that it has in the program is a clear documentation of your body mass index and taking photos of yourself every 30 days or so, because those are very powerful tools to continue yourself on that journey. And I think that's what I'm going to do as well with the homestead that we're going to put together. We're starting off with 2 acres, but there is an additional 6 acres adjoining the property that's up for sale at the moment. And I'm going to do everything in my power to get my hands on that property as well, so we can expand it into 8 acres and really ramp up the idea. Because in the 5-year plan I have for that property, I want to be able to have minimal out-of-pocket expense for living. And what I mean by that is I want to be able to utilize that land to produce everything I would need to, and if not, trade for other items I'd have. So like I have a buddy of mine that every year we go in portions on a steer. So when he butchers it, we get a portion depending on how much we paid for it. But also utilizing those things to be able to trade in with your community and be able to get the items you would need that you don't want to pay out on. There's always ways where you can work out on bargaining. But no, this is very bittersweet. As I continue demolishing the last 7 years of my life in this backyard, and how I've grown it from the original planter box that was just put together with absolute crud wood, didn't match, didn't look good at all, to the aquaponics setup and the rebuilds of the garden greenhouse. And I'm really looking forward to the change. Now, right now, I live in a pretty suburban neighborhood, and I've got neighbors all around me. And when we move to this new property, there's only going to be one neighbor in sight, just one. I'll be able to listen to my Viking rock and shoot arrows all day long. Look forward to a upcoming display on archery dartboards. It's going to be a fun game. I used to live out on 15 acres, and one of my most fond memories of living out on property was being able to come home from work, sling down a beer, and throw arrows all night long. Just sit out in my front lawn and throw arrows downrange all day long. It is so much more. It's more connection for me, you know. It's not necessarily to say archery is this or it's spiritual or anything like that, but it's more along the lines of getting away from modern technology is the most rewarding thing you can get. Obviously, I understand that I'm recording this on an iPhone. There is a place in the world for when it comes to technology, but I don't want it consuming my life anymore. I get so bored and so restless here in town because I can't do the things that I'm most passionate about, and more things that I'm looking very much forward to this new property. Can't wait to start giving you guys updates on the progress of what we're doing. I love you guys. Take care of yourself.